All right, people, here we go. Toolkit number four. Least square regression. So basically what we have is we're going to make a scatter plot. We see that on the left side. You've probably done this in classes before. So just kind of more, this is going to be a little bit more calculator-ish how to do this. We have some observations, hours studying, and then somebody's final exam grade. And I'm trying to see if there's a relationship between the two. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that. So to put these into list one and list two, you hit your stat key, which is right there. So second, or sorry, just go to stat and we're going to edit. Okay. So stat enter, and then you're going to put in your list, right? So I have 5, 3, 7, 10, 3, 7, 5. And if I go down to 12, that's good. I notice after that, I don't have anything, right? We want to make sure that our list one and our list two match. If they don't, it'll give us a dim mismatch, right? These are X, Y coordinates. So we can't just have an X coordinate sitting by itself without a Y coordinate or vice versa. So once you get those all in, go ahead and practice this because it's not a bad idea to do. Okay. We're going to quit out of there to get to our regular old screen. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to stat, calc, and then linreg. So stat over to calc and then down to linreg. So stat, calc, linreg. There we go. Stat, calc, linreg. There's another one down below. I like this one because it's in the mx plus b form. I know it says ax plus b. The a is basically the m. And I press enter. And then I press enter again. And right now, it's only giving me the A, which is the slope, and the B, which is the intercept, which is perfectly fine. Okay, absolutely perfectly fine. Okay, so I'm going to write down what the Y equals. Y equals 3.83. I'll cut it off 3.83x, and then plus 54. And I'm just going to keep that there. I guess I could do point 0.1 since I rounded the other one. Oh, 0.808. I'll be a little more accurate. That's fine. Nice script right there, right? Good font, Mr. Bob. All right. And right here, I give you a little hint. If R and R squared do not appear, go to catalog, which is second zero, and scroll to diagnostics on. Okay, what that's going to do is that's going to give you these other two things, right? It's giving me slope and intercept, but there's two other things that linear regression can give me. And it's turned off if your calculator is new or gets reset. So I'm going to go second zero, that goes to catalog. I'm going to just hit down until I get to the D's. So there's A, B, C's, D's, and I'm going to look for diagnostic on, and I see it right there, diagnostic on. I'm going to press enter twice. And now when I do stat, calc, linreg and press enter twice, it's going to give me R squared and R, which will be important for AP Stat and other applications later on. Okie dokie. But that's kind of nice to have and nice to be able to do. Not as important for what we're doing in this class, but it's good to have. All right, there we go. Let's go ahead and put it into, I want to plot this thing to see what it looks like. So plot scatter plot with least square regression lines. So I'm going to go to stat plot, which is second plus y equals. So second and then y equals, we see is stat plot. Second y equals. I see they're all turned off right now. That's a good thing. I'm going to turn the first one on, and I'm going to go to scatter plot, which is the first one. These other things kind of look like scatter plots, but they're not. Notice that they're kind of lined up. It's not scattered. This one looks scattered. That's the one I'm going to choose. And then it says, what do you want your X and your Y list to be? To get the list, if it doesn't say L1 and L2, you'll notice that above the number one and the number two are L1 and L2. You just have to press your second key first to get this. Cool. All right. So that's it. As soon as I get that, oh, I don't have the instructions there. We're going to hit zoom. Oops, sorry. We're going to quit out of there. We're going to hit zoom. And then notice that six, or sorry, I think it's nine. Hold on a second. If we go down, nine is zoom stat. So I'm going to write that here. I don't know why that's not in it. Zoom 9 to sketch, I guess, or plot. Okay, so I'm going to do zoom 9, ching, and it will plot it for me. And oh, I didn't put the line in yet. Silly mystery buff. Let's go to y equals, And let's put that in. 3.83x. And your x, if you forgot, is up here. Okay, it's one down, one over. X, and then plus, was it 54.083, I think? 0.08. Oh, that's fine. All right, try it again. Zoom 9, and there it is. We got it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, so when we do the sketch down here, we're just going to kind of make it look ish. Okay, I'm going to draw the line like that. I'm going to go pew, 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 pew. Wow, that one wasn't very good, but that's okay. Pew, pew. Maybe I cross that one off and make this one better. Okay, there we go. Not a bad idea to label the X and the Y axis. To figure that out, you just hit window and it'll tell you the minimum X and the max X. So this kind of goes from 0 to about 13, and it goes from, let's see, 48 to 106. So I'll call this 48 to 106, right? Just so I have an idea of scale. Again, it doesn't need to be perfect. My sketch doesn't need to be great. This is hours studying. And this is grade on the final exam. Cool. And this is the relationship between the two. All right, gives a little picture. All right, so slope for this one is, in general, um, the predicted amount that y goes up as x goes up 1. Right? That's what slope is. How much does y change when we move over 1x, right? So for this one, we would say, for every extra hour studying, grade expected to go up 3.83%. I'll just say points. Okay. So in general, if you study for an extra hour, you would predict or expect this. Again, expect or predict is important. It doesn't automatically work, right? It doesn't, you know, but in general, that seems to be the trend, right? The intercepts happen. So when x is equal to 0, we predict y to be. That's what the intercept tells us, right? So it's the y-intercept, and that happens when x is 0. So in this case, x is 0 would be 0 hours studying. So with 0 hours studying, the predicted score is 54.08. Okay, so if you didn't study at all, you would predict your score to be 54 based on this, right? Again, it's just predicted. Some people could study 0 hours and get 100. Who knows, right? All right, correlation coefficient is, and we saw it before. Let's just write it down what it was, and we'll talk about it real quick. So stat, calc, linreg, do that again. I should have written it down earlier. My R value was R is equal to 0.874, and my R squared is equal to 0.76. Okay, so I'm going to write those in here. I'm going to save this for AP Stat. Okay, so if you're an AP Stat at some point in time, you'll learn what these are. Basically, this one tells you strength and direction. The closer to 1 or -1 you get, the stronger. This is pretty close to 1, 0.87, right? That's a pretty fairly strong correlation. Okay. The closer you get to 0, the weaker it is. Coefficient of determination gives you the percent of your y variable that explains x. So for this one would be 76% of your grade can be explained by hours studying. Looks like there's other factors besides studying that can explain your grade, which should make sense, right? This one would be a fairly strong correlation. I'm not worried about this. Okay. I just want to give you a little sneak peek into it. fairly strong or moderately strong correlation. Okay. These we don't need. You could write a little note there. Not needed for this class. Just a little sneak peek. It's kind of cool. All right. For us, we need slope and intercept. We should be able to do that. We should be able to interpret what the slope means. We should be able to interpret what the intercept means. We should be able to make a sketch, all that good stuff. That's the basic stuff for least square regression. All right. Cool beans. Cool beans. Cool beans. See you, people.